Cleveland's moving on to the next round. Did y'all really think the Pacers, of all the teams, were going to be the team that knocked LeBron out in the first round for the very first time? Now, on Friday night, everybody had an opinion. Where you at, Unc? You must be on that yacht. Victor Oladipo, This My House. Lance Stevenson playing the guitar. Now, Lance, you were in Cleveland. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame resides in Cleveland. B.B. King, Eric Clapton, some of the greatest, Jimi Hendrix, some of the greatest musicians of all times got guitars residing in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not one time did you play. No one actually thought the Pacers were going to beat LeBron in a Game 7, except LeBron haters. Now, y'all were keying. I'm posting pictures yesterday about food. Y'all jumping in my mentions about LeBron. Now jump back in these mentions and bow down, because y'all know what time it is. Now, y'all need to put some spec on that man's name. Bron, we out.
Victor Oladipo and LeBron James sharing a moment. A lot of respect there for LeBron, for Victor Oladipo. What a great series Vic had. But what a great series LeBron had, especially in those wins for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Chris Miles, Anton Jameson, Brendan Hayward here. Cleveland advances will face the Toronto Raptors. LeBron James in those wins, 45 points today, 32 points, 46 points. Oh, man. And I think 44 points the other way.
Oh, man.
Averaging, I guess, over 41 in the 4 wins in this series, and the Cavs needed every single one of those buckets.
Well, we knew that in order for them to win, LeBron James had to be LeBron James. We talked about it before the game. He had to score 40-plus points. He did that. The thing that really had to stick out was the supporting cast. Jeff Green, Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance, 1 for 11. It didn't get it done, but the play of Tristan Thompson and also George Hill, we talked about it. The box scores might not see the impact that George Hill had, but Tristan Thompson coming out, protecting the paint, protecting the rim as well, being able to switch out pick and rolls, keeping that guard play, perimeter play under control. That what really stood out for them in order for them to give LeBron some help in order to win the game as well.
And listen, we know LeBron played well, but you hit it right on the head. The guy I want to talk about, Tristan Thompson, much maligned. A lot of people have been talking. They've been whispering. They've been talking about what's been going on in his personal life. I don't think that's actually fair to talk about on television. But guess what? He stepped up, gave them energy from the absolute jump. And I love the way he responded. Twan, you were never good enough to get benched. But guess what? I've been benched in my career before. And when you get benched, it's how you respond to that benching. He came out with energy. He came out mad. He came out, played hair on fire. He wanted to prove everybody wrong that he does deserve his contract. He wanted to prove the coaching staff wrong. Hey, I do deserve minutes. I should be in the rotation. I do have championship experience. And he put all that together today and put that toward his energy. And we saw the Tristan Thompson that we were used to seeing, a high-level role player that plays with massive amounts of energy.
And also that says a lot for Tyronn Lue to trust him, knowing of his history, being able to do those things. And Game 7, the series on the line, you know what? You've done it before. Go out there and show me you can do it again.
Well, I don't know if he had a lot of options. Wasn't a lot of people, not a lot of people to trust over there. I'm not going to lie to him.
Well, Tristan Thompson played a combined 23 minutes in the first 6 games of this series, played 35 minutes tonight, almost had a double-double in the first half. In fact, a putback dunk negated that just before the buzzer. So if you look at what he did in the box score, it says 15 and 10 and 1 block. But defensively, you pointed out a few times where he cleaned up LeBron's mess on defense. And also, there was a sense of accountability. When Tristan said to LeBron, LeBron's like, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There were a couple of plays where LeBron had some Olay defensive type of moments, to say the least. And Tristan was there. Tristan was right there to help him out. He had the big block late in the game. I think it was on Darren Collison. He was moving his feet. He was being aggressive. He was helping trap Victor Oladipo at times late in ball games. Tristan's energy not only was we could see it in his 15 and 10, but we could see it in his defense and how he was moving around the court. He was much bigger than his numbers tonight, him and George Hill.
Well, George Hill, 11 points, 6 rebounds, which, again, that sounds good in 19 minutes, but his perimeter defense, and here's a guy who had not played in the last 3 games and didn't play in the first half, and then stays on the court once he gets on it. How big was that, especially when Cleveland needed another ball handler, because the pressure Indiana was putting on Cleveland was just a little too much?
Yeah, it was very important, especially to do it on both ends of the floor. Darren Collison came out and had an unbelievable game.
Yes.
Nobody was able to make it difficult for him. He was able to get into the teeth of the defense any opportunity, anytime, any opportunity that he wanted. So you needed somebody to at least keep him in front of them for an extended period of time. He was able to come in off the bench. He thought he was going to start, thought he was going to be able to play, didn't play in the first half at all. And as you know, if you don't get the opportunity to play, sometimes your mind might wander. You know, you might be checked out of the game is what they call it, but he did an unbelievable job defensively, making it difficult for Darren Collison, but also offensively, handling that ball pressure, running offense, getting guys into the spots. That's what he's capable of doing. He's done it before. With the injury, he hasn't been able to do it in the series. Hopefully, in the next round, he can be healthy because they're going to need him more to have some success.
Well, and the thing, you hit it right on the head. Sometimes when you're not playing, your mind can wander. When you're George Hill and you say, hey, I'm back, and you don't start. And not only do you not start, you don't play the whole first half. And this is a guy that had a back injury. So not only do you have to worry about his mind, but you have to worry about his body, the back tightening up, not being loose. And when he finally checked into the basketball game, he had an immediate impact. Didn't have big numbers from the floor, but he hit 9 of 11 free throws, finished the game with 11 points, and they needed all those points. And they needed his professional approach. That's what you talk about, professionalism, having good veterans, because they understand George Hill never wavered in his confidence in the coaching staff, never went into a shell and was like, man, forget this. Y'all don't want to play me. I'm going to go somewhere else mentally. He stayed in it, stayed locked in, and his team needed him tonight, and he was able to show up big time.
We've seen in the postseason a LeBron James team when he comes out of the game. One we joked about against the Golden State Warriors where, LeBron comes out of the game and a 2-point game turns into a 13-point Warriors lead. Today, LeBron comes out of the game at the end of the third quarter. It's a 2-point lead, and then he looks up, and the Cavs have a 9-point advantage. I mean, that felt like the turn, the swinging point in the game.
And it was huge. And you had guys like George Hill hitting free throws. You had Kevin Love hit a couple of buckets in that stretch. You had a bunch of guys just mixing and matching and putting their points in. And what you basically saw was when LeBron was out, it was a collective team effort. George Hill was running the pick and roll. He was getting the balls to people in their spots. He was making good decisions. They weren't turning it over. And these are all the things you have to do to win a playoff game. We can talk about LeBron for a whole show. But it's the other guys that have to step up. And sometimes it's not about the numbers. It's about making the right plays. It's about not turning the ball over. It's about getting back on defense. Guess what? If your teammate has a bad defensive lapse, it's about you coming over there to cover him up. So there's so many different things that I saw positive from this Cavaliers team, from a team's aspect outside of LeBron James, that I was really happy to finally see, because I didn't see a lot of that throughout the course of the first round of this playoff series.
Giving credit to the Indiana Pacers in the season that they had, going forward, what do you look from them? I mean, Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis, Bojan Bogdanovic, Miles Turner, these seem like pieces that they can progress forward.
Well, the most important, piece to this is that you got the taste of being in the playoffs. A lot of people did not have this team making the playoffs at all this year, but
I don't think no one had an
unbelievable job finding a way to be successful as a team. Oladipo has put himself in the category as far as being a next superstar in this league. What can he do in the offseason to add to his game? But you have great young pieces. Miles Turner is a guy who can make an impact. He could be an all-star. You have guys that can come off the bench and do the things you need to do in order to take that next step. Of course, you're going to do some subtractions, and you're going to add pieces to this team going forward. You need to do things to make the young guys, bring some veterans in there that can help these guys out, because there's a lot of situations that they still haven't experienced by doing that. So great young nucleus, great to experience making it to the playoffs. Now you experience, not making it, failure. What do you do in an off season to prepare yourself and to get better as a team with new pieces?
When I look at this Pacers team, two things jumped out at me that I saw in this series that I would be trying to add if I was management. First of all, it would be a little bit more perimeter shooting as far as like a stretch four, because they have Thaddeus Young and they have Sabonis. Those guys are very good basketball players, but somebody that is a stretch four, Antoine Jameson type, how you used to stretch the court, giving Victor Oladipo more space. The second thing, they need a secondary playmaker, because too many times the Cleveland Cavaliers are able to say, you know what, we're just going to double Victor Oladipo, whether it be in the screening role and his one-on-ones. We're going to send a double team his way and take the ball out of his hands. That's when you need a secondary player. Everybody else, we talk about the better teams, the Golden States and some of these other teams, the Houston Rockets, they have big threes, big twos. Well, Victor Oladipo is the big one, and they need somebody else that's going to be able to take the pressure off of this young man. I'm not sure where they're going to get that. Playmakers don't just grow on trees, but they need another guy. Hey, Batman didn't get it done by himself. He always had Robin. Victor Oladipo needs a Robin.